People come up to me and say, hey, Scribble, what's it like playing in Kybal 1 with only 5 GLs? I can see lots of fucking GLs. It has its moments. That's right, ladies and gentlemen of the Scribe Tribe, our opponent did have 6 GLs to our 5 and decided to put 5 of them on defense. He really doesn't like 3v3. So the plan of attack for this one was very simple. I saw that he had 5 GLs on defense and I was relatively confident that means he cannot tackle my south section and clear through to the back wall there. As in 3v3, south section is actually worth more total points if you can clear it compared to if you just tried to clear the north wall. That's where I decided to gamble on. Yes, it was going to be tricky trying to clear up that south section with all those heavy GLs in there, but I figured it was worth the risk, and I had a feeling that I had the chance of actually clearing south. And if I do that, it means I definitely stand a very strong chance at getting through and winning this particular match. So in the north section, he's got Rey and C, and in the south section, we can see that he's got Lord Vader with Royal Guard and Maul. He also has JMK with GK and Cat, and he's also got JML with an odd combo of Shaak Ti and Ki-Adi-Mundi. Personally, I think this is a waste of Shaak Ti. She's very useful elsewhere, and it's certainly a waste of Ki-Adi-Mundi because, you know, that kind of messes with your Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron. Now, I took a look at the Datacron for Lord Vader, and he doesn't seem to have the bonus protection Datacron. This is a tank revive mechanic instead, and honestly, I'd prefer to face this Datacron. We also do have a Dooku lead Starkiller, and we have a Malgus leading Darth Revan and Bastila Shan to deal with. Let's get into the first battle though. I wanted to start off by trying to tackle the Lord Vader. I've gone in with the typical Nihilus lead Traya Omicron counter, but I am very much aware of the fact that my Nihilus in particular and my Traya are not modded well, and they are undergeared. What I was hoping to accomplish out of this is just to be able to kill the 2 adds so I can go in for an easy cleanup afterwards. I didn't hold out much hope for this, but it starts off okay. We don't lose a single unit to Maul's Seething Rage at the start, which is perfect, and I'm just basically biding my time until I can get through to that first Annihilate and take out Royal Guard. Now, he does have the revive mechanic active, but you can't revive from Annihilate. Hence why I decided to take in this particular team. I thought it would work better than if I was to take in a Fennec team, for example. So obviously Maul is going to do his business, and the longer he takes on these turns, the worse off it is for me really, but hey, what can you do? Looks like unfortunately our Nihilus just has too much health, so we can't actually drop below that 90% threshold and trigger an immediate damage reduction, Annihilate, but we actually get the kill with Sidious of all people on Royal Guard. So I'm just going to have to sit back and play the biding my time game. Big shame. Fortunately, we did manage to get the triple cooldown increase there on Nihilus, which means next turn he will have that Annihilate. We got lucky because Lord Vader didn't have a debuff, which is what guarantees the cooldown decrease. So I'm just waiting for our boy Nihilus to take a turn. This is why I decided to switch the offense over to try and take out Maul, because I know that Royal Guard is a marked man. Booyah! The Annihilate comes in. Always satisfying. Next up, we do have Darth Maul to deal with. And now it's just the joy that is a one-on-one Vader match. Spoiler alert, guys, doesn't go particularly well. Let's skip ahead. As you can see, we just don't have the damage output to deal with this Lord Vader. He's got too much health recovery, and obviously he is stacking up his mastery as the game goes on. Not the biggest deal. I'm glad we got it down to just the Lord Vader. Left him with half health, just to make him that much easier to clean up. Next battle. And that next battle is going to be the cleanup on Lord Vader. I've decided to clean up with Fennec because it is a highly reliable counter. I'm taking in Grief and Dad Bod Boba. My Datacron here gives me damage immunity if I trigger below 50% health on my bounty hunters, but I've also got the level 3. That means whenever I dispel debuffs, I'm getting stacking tenacity up on my allies. How that plays with Fennec is more instances of stacking offense, as every time she gains tenacity up, she's gaining additional offense, which just makes her an additional powerhouse. And honestly, that bot Boba can hurt. He gets the kill. I'm okay with that. 34 banners. Next battle. And it's time for GL number 2. This time we're taking on the JMK Cat comp featuring GK. I've decided to go in with JML, GMY, and Jedi Knight Revan. I nearly said Darth Revan there, how foolish of me. So I started off with the increased cooldown on our boy JMK, and then I went straight in for the mark on Kitty Cat. In hindsight, not a very smart thing to do. You really want to let Cat take her first yeet, you know, get that out of her system so we don't have JMK going to his ultimate and then Cat is free to yeet whoever she pleases. But lessons can be learned, obviously. Lessons can be learned. In 3v3, it's a little bit easier to focus down Cat, provided you have Jedi Knight Revan to be able to do that direct focus on her. If you don't, though, it can get a little bit icky-sticky. As you can see here, I'm getting a little bit nervous that she's about to get her yeet off, and fortunately we've got ridiculous amounts of protection on our JML. Note, I've got a Datacron here on JML that provides him an additional 65% protection and 40% potency, pushing his protection values well over 200,000, which means he does all of the damage with his Jedi lessons. The rest of the battle is very, very easy. We're free to focus on JMK because GK doesn't really offer a whole lot at this point, so you might as well try and focus down JMK. If you have the opportunity, try and spread some of those buffs with GMY. That additional foresight will really lean into the fact that JMK is about as blind as a bat. So, yeah, nice hits there, Kenobi. Oh my god, he's dead. Now we'll just have to kill Kenobi. Anybody that's done this battle before will know it is actually quite straightforward. I really would advise you letting Cat get her yeet out of the way, just in case you don't want JMK to go into that early ult that he does and have Cat give free reign to kill whoever she pleases. GK, just give it up, mate. You're not going to survive. Here we go. Big damage incoming. Good night, Irene. 55 banners, though. Lovely. We decide to keep it nice and easy now, taking down the JML. It's just JML. C and Watt will deal with it rather nicely. Just going to put that tank tech. I'm going to make myself a cup of really hot tea, sit back and wait for it all to just blow over, I guess. I really don't know why he decided to throw Ki-Adi-Mundi in here. Perhaps he was thinking Ki-Adi-Mundi is a great unit, which is true. It's not wrong to think that Ki-Adi-Mundi is a good unit, but honestly, I can't help but feel like Ki-Adi-Mundi provides more value elsewhere. I'm not saying that a Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron team featuring Ki-Adi-Mundi and Jedi Knight Anakin is any great shakes these days. It's a very well understood counter at this point. But you could at least take it on offense? I don't think Cam brings too much to this team is the point I'm trying to make, I think. I was going to go here and I was thinking, okay, we'll get rid of Cam and we'll get rid of Shakti later, but I guess we were wrong. She just straight up died, and then C finishes it off the old man. Perfect. Before we go into the next battle, guys, can I just ask you a huge favor and just hit that like button? It costs you nothing at all, and it does a heck of a lot for my channel. I thank you all so much. So I usually use C to take out Malgus, and I didn't have gas available for offense. So yeah, I decided to experiment and throwing Lord Vader against Malgus. I didn't know how this was going to go. Honestly, I figured I should eventually stack enough mastery that I should win. Maybe? But I wasn't entirely sure what to expect. Malgus is a pain, guys. He is a pain, and maybe I should start taking gas off defense in 3v3 and start taking him on offensive measures so that I can deal with these teams a little bit more easily. We always see Malgus on defense these days. I'm throwing in our girl second sister over there, not because she adds any great value to the team, but simply because she's a dark side unaligned force user, and that's going to help me take less damage. Literally it. And I have no other real use for her. She's Relic 7, but her mods are garbage. I'm basically trying to focus down Basti Fallen out of the gate because I feel like she's probably the biggest threat. Well, no, not really. Malgus is definitely the biggest threat, but if I want to try and take out a side unit, it's definitely going to be Basti first, because if I start working on Darth Revan, he's just going to equalize health with Malgus, and then I won't really be getting anywhere. As you can see, we're a minute and a bit into this particular match, and I've done less than no damage. All I've done is sat there and taken damage. So it's not looking too good right now, so I want you to place your bets and determine the outcome of this match. We do finally get up to an ultimate. I'm like, yay, ultimates for everybody. I throw down the ability block, and then we all remember that Lord Vader doesn't have infinite cooldown reductions anymore. However, we do get to have some nice heal immunity, and Basti is starting to take some damage. We were fortunate enough to have everybody still alive for this particular ultimate, so it means we got to absorb the most amount of mastery. Now, my Royal Guard, I believe, is Relic 7, and so is Second Sister, so there could be a little bit more mastery that I could seek from these if they were higher relics, but it kind of feels like it's in an okay position. We nearly lose Second Sister there from Malgus's big hit, but it looks like we're actually going to take out Darth Revan, fortunately, and then it's just down to Malgus. Mano a mano, one Sith Lord to another. Except, I also have a cadre of support. Now, I don't think for a minute that I'm going to lose this match necessarily, because I think there's absolutely no way that Malgus is going to chew through 83 stacks of protection up. However, I am very much concerned about the fact that we could well time out. As you can see, we've just lost Second Sister. Malgus has got lots of bonus protection. We're not actually hurting him any. So I just have to hope that we can ramp up enough mastery so that we do enough damage to actually eventually kill him. The more times he actually hits our Lord Vader, in fact, the better off we will be, because I want to keep Royal Guard nice and healthy. Fortunately, it looks like we've managed to fully heal on our Royal Guard. I believe I do have a decent datacron here, so it's just a bit of a back and forth right now with Malgus recovering all of his protection and me sweating at the seams right now, because I'm like, I've only got 1 minute and 45 seconds left. What on earth are we going to do? This guy keeps on recovering all of his protection thanks to his stupid Omicron. I can't give him heal immunity because he's immune to it. We can only give buff immunity, which in the grand scheme of things isn't doing a whole lot. But hey, at least we've got an ability block when we do that, the AoE from our ult. It looks like whenever we're in ult, we get close to actually dealing with him, but I realise now that maybe having him on full auto, constantly throwing out those dots, probably not actually doing the best thing for me. We've got 141 stacks of protection up, but you can have all the protection up in the world and it's not going to help you kill someone unless you are Padme. And even then it caps out on 20. And that isn't always going to kill everybody, and it certainly wouldn't kill Malgus because he takes reduced damage from percentage health effects. So yeah, it's not looking pretty right now. That Malgus is holding on for dear life. I want to say that we decide to take this battle manually and stop using that AoE, even though, conversely speaking, that AoE does actually help us stack mastery, so maybe it was necessary. Oh, is Malgus gonna die? Is Malgus gonna die? We've got 30 seconds left. Tell me Malgus is gonna die. Oh no, he recovered everything. Oh god. And now he's basically back up to fighting fitness. I'm like, I need to get another ultimate, quick. Get me to ultimate. Get me to ultimate. Look at me, I've left this on full auto the whole way. We've got 15 seconds left. We get another ultimate. We throw it down. Come on, tell me we're gonna kill this Malgus. It's not looking pretty, guys. But, yes! 3 seconds left on the clock. And Lord Vader eventually pulls it out of the bag. Whew. This is where it all started to unravel a little bit. I went in with Wampa, and although I remembered some of Starkiller's kit, I completely forgot that he actually makes his entire team immune to daze. I remembered the no stun part, but I forget the daze. So here I was hoping that this AoE would daze Dooku so he wouldn't counterattack, of course Starkiller to assist, and I was like, oh no, wait a minute. And of course, Dooku, when he's got his riposte, attacks directly into health, and then he puts tenacity down on my 280% tenacity Wampa. Needless to say, guys, this didn't go according to plan. And we preloaded as well, so it's a double bubble. I then decide to take a different tack. This is the last team that I need to kill to clear through to the south section, so we take in Bam with Han and Chewie. I figured if we go full send, we might just be able to get something done. But oh my days is their damage output for days on this team, and they just recovered everything straight off the bat as well. I was like, it's okay, we've got the we've got the tenacity down on him. But then I remembered that Starkiller actually stops his allies from getting stunned, so it didn't even really matter. This was not a good idea. Don't do this. I'd never actually seen this comp in my defense, and Barriss probably actually offered a lot to this team as well, in so much as, you know, she's going to be there and she'll be healing up her allies whenever they get crit. And I don't think 10 stacks of Whistling Birds is really going to do anything to anybody. But let's see. Nope, absolutely not. I tried to back out, and the game doesn't let me. Stupid game. And now it's time for the Hail Mary. We decide to go in with Qui-Gon Jinn. See, he has some use, offensively speaking. I really need to remod mine, though. They're not ideal. So yeah, it gets a little bit very worrying, I'm not going to lie. Because, you know, they deal a lot of damage. Starkiller assists a lot of the time. Really what we're waiting to happen is for Qui-Gon Jinn to drop and then us to get all our bonus offense, and for hopefully Anakin to come down and cause mass amounts of pain to people. This is why I'm not using his AoE just yet. I want to make sure that when they do eventually kill Qui-Gon Jinn, that we have the opportunity to use that. So, just waiting for it, and looks like Starkiller is just about to drop a house on us. We get our bonus turn, and it interrupts his bonus turn. And Anakin opens up the can of whoop-ass. You love to see it. That was close. That was close. I didn't know that we were going to interrupt his cooldown of ultimate. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what's on the back wall. Surprisingly enough, there are no GLs. He has saved 1 GL for offense. We got GL Newt, we got JTR with Bag Bros, we got BAM with IG-11, and we got a smattering of other units. Let's see what we can do. I decide to take on the Bossk team now. Bossk with Zam and Embo. Zam has her Omicron, providing lots of additional speed and bonuses to the team, but JTR, typically speaking, is a pretty solid hard counter to Bossk-led bounty hunters. That's because she can put that locked heal immunity on Bossk, and then we can quite easily start to chew through his health. This Bossk is also only Relic 5, so I don't really have anything to worry about. Also, I'm relatively sure that there was no CLS with 2PO and C3PO on defense, so I'm quite confident that I don't need to use my JTR there. As you can see, we get off to a good start. They've dropped my BB-8 out of maximum protection, so I can actually get rid of the taunt off that Bossk. I decided to focus on Zam Wessel, because if things do happen to go wrong, I would like to be in a position where at least I've removed Zam Wessel so that her Omicron is no longer active if I have to multi-tap this particular battle. I could have gone for the Bossk there to try and get the stun on him, but, excuse me, I'm pretty certain he was ability blocked, so I didn't have to worry about him taunting and interrupting my fun and enjoyment. So BB-8 looking a little bit on the hairy side. Turns out they've got a Datacron that gives them damage immunity to their bounty hunters after they drop below 50% health. Not ideal. We're still a couple of turns away, or one more turn away, from actually getting Illuminated Destiny, so I decide to hide BB-8 to try and save him from any embarrassing situations. They've lost their damage immunity, Zam is out of there, Illuminated Destiny kicks in, recovers a nominal amount of protection for the team, but BB-8 still looking a little bit leery. At this point now, we've got this in the bag. There's no Zam, we've got everybody still alive, Bossk is dead, and honestly, Embo on his own isn't really going to accomplish much of anything. Come on, Embo, give up the ghost. Nice hit, bro. No more foresight for you, Embo. And this is the irritating thing about Embo. Whenever you hurt him, I feel, or is it maybe crit him? Can't remember. He gains that foresight. It's just frustrating. It's like, die, Embo. God. First team of the back wall dead. Lovely. Next up, we're taking Bad Batch against Adrad, featuring Jyn Erso, obviously, and Scavish Rebel Pathfinder. Oh, something that makes sense. Now, this gets a little bit iffy from time to time, I feel, but on the whole, in 3v3, it's not terrible. If you don't happen to focus down the Radis and kill him before he hits his ultimate, that hope maneuver, then you're in deep trouble. But fortunately for me, this one couldn't have been modded particularly well, because I was able to chew through his bonus protection, his standard protection very, very quickly. And we've obviously got Echo over there providing us that tasty debuff to make sure that Xaereth Rebel Pathfinder doesn't permanently taunt and revive and do all that annoying business that he's able to do. We actually managed to land the stun on Adrad as well, that's quite nice. And yeah, I feel like this one was possibly one of the easier ad rads that I've ever had to deal with. Very quick to chew through. I never felt like I was out of control of the situation. And we had a new subscriber right as we made some fried calamari. Good timing. And we had a new subscriber. Still, we won. We decide to keep attacking the back wall here, taking on Bam with Dash and Bam with Queel and IG-11. I'm taking a tried and trusted favorite of mine. That is the trusty Thrawn lead, featuring 5s and Rex. The idea is, of course, that Thrawn gives us lots of control, lots of turn meter swapping, and we can also then just build our way up to a Rexolate and slowly kill whoever we want. Fortunately here, we're able to get Bam over there to trigger his whistling bird super early, so he only has a couple of birds in his pocket, and that is not enough for him to really even tickle us. So we've got plenty of survivability here. I decide to form up at the start because I don't think I actually have enough damage output just yet to get rid of IG-11, and more importantly, we want to yeet Bam out. Without Bam in the picture, there's no real damage output to this team, especially when IG-11 has been fractured. I really like this team in 3s. I think it is actually very valuable because you've got means of recovery, you've got means of control, and you've got means to kill more or less any unit with one hit, thanks to Rexecute, Rexolate, Aerial Advantage, whatever you want to call it. Bear in mind, if the opponent has foresight, you cannot actually land the hit. They will dodge it. So yeah, really good team. Very safe, very controlled. Plus, I don't think Bam really belongs on defense in 3v3. I don't think he offers enough value there. Plus, he's quite good on offense. See, we're even able to recover almost all of our protection here. We got it all for the banners. Winner! And for the final team on the back wall, we're going to be taking on JTR with the Bag Bros. I decided that this was the prime opportunity to test out our R9 Gar Saxon. You heard me, Relic 9 is where it's at. Look at him tanking those hits. He's got basically full protection. The assists coming out of Candy Lips over there, and we've got Maul just shredding face. I genuinely believe that if it wasn't for R9 Gar Saxon, we would not have won this battle. Not so easily. 56 banners, a very successful victory. And with the clearing of that back wall, it puts us at 1,032 banners to 0 so far. Now, I don't think I can clear that top wall at all. In fact, I know I can't. Simply had to take out too many GLs as it was, and I've dropped too many battles. But I want to see just what additional teams I can actually take out before throwing in the towel. First and foremost, I decide to go after the EP Mara Jade Starkiller team using my trusty Imperial Troopers. Now, oh, there's no Starkiller in this. All right then. Yeah, well, still EP Mara Jade. I'm using the Datacron here to gain the additional 60% TM at the start of the battle. That's going to Dark Trooper. He then forms up, and then we just literally punch our way through the universe. I love crippling old men with giant metal fists of death. It's what Dark Trooper was made for. Beautiful. Next up, we're taking on CG's favourite faction, the Inquisitors. This one is a 5th brother lead with 2nd sister and 8th brother, and I've decided to take in Dash, Queel, and IG-11. It was more of a mishmash of units that I just kind of had left, but I was relatively confident that I could at least make some dents in this team. I know that 2nd sister is the big threat here because she can ramp up her stats and become gradually more deadly the more enemies that I kill, so I figure let's maybe focus her down first and foremost. I'm not too worried about the other 2 units. They are only Relic 7. Does that even make sense? It's only Relic 7, darling. What has this new TB done to our perception of character strength? I don't know. But either way, in my opinion, Inquisitors in 3v3 perhaps not the best units. It's probably why you see so many of them on defense, because their offensive capabilities so far do not seem to be particularly strong. As you can see, we've got the thing under control here quite well, and we're almost actually looking very healthy. Healthy enough to come away with only 1 dropped banner there. I'll take the 56. But we are not done with facing Inquisitors just yet. We still have the Grand Inquisitor face down. Taking in Jedi against the Grand Inquisitor is never a good idea. I'll have you know. And again, all Relic 7 characters. I was literally just scraping the bottom of the barrel right now thinking, where can I effectively use this team? I know that Jedi Knight Luke is a powerful character, so hopefully there is enough in him to chew through this team. But case in point, 9th Sister is chunky. Like, super chunky. We know how strong Luke is. Luke absolutely claps cheeks. But that 9th Sister, she is just holding off the offensive incredibly well. So I'm at the moment thinking we're not really going to get much progress here because that Ninth Sister has also got the revive mechanic, I believe, so that when we kill her, she's just going to come right back. So yeah, I've gotten Hoda here to try and keep the heals up. Obviously, we want to try and depend on Luke's leadership ability to try and give ourselves some recovery there, to try and keep us in the game. Thankfully, Shakti also has an element of sustainability to her, but she's a little on the squishy side, especially when facing off against Inquisitors. Either way, we got through Ninth Sister once, and it feels like Luke is actually starting to do some damage now. So there's still some hope. Of course, Seventh Sister over there decides to heal up everybody. Like, the amount of healing that she can get done in that hit is absolutely absurd. That big AoE heal is just ridiculous, man. It's just like, yep, I'm going to recover all of the protection in the world. But hey, I'm still feeling quite confident at this point. I'm deciding who do I call in. Probably should have called in Shakti there. But I wanted to try and get a little bit more healing, I guess. We've got our foresight back up, and I feel like if we can just get rid of Ninth Sister, we'll be in a pretty good position. So, booyah, Ninth Sister is officially out of there. So I've just decided to call in Luke. I want to get rid of Seventh Sister, not because she's the biggest threat, but because I really hate that heal. That's the reason I'm going after her right now. If we can get rid of her capability to keep Grand Inquisitor alive, then I'm feeling quite confident. Booyah, she gets absolutely wrecked by Jedi Knight Luke, and now I'm feeling like we've hit the jackpot. Unfortunately, he did manage to get the 6 stacks of torture on our Luke, but he's more or less killing himself with counterattacks. And in the end, a pretty solid win. I'm happy with that one. 56. And that is where we leave it, guys. We got 1,166 banners. I had nothing left to take out C and Rey simply because I had to use too much clearing the south section. So, fingers crossed that our opponent wasn't able to clear as much as we were. Let's take a look at his results. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Only 842 banners for our boy Anakin. He tried to clear up the north section instead of going down south. Obviously, he only had 1 GL for offense, so he was going to struggle to take out the 2 that I put on the defense in the south section. So taking a look at his attacks, he used Traya with Nihilus and Scion against my EP Starkiller. Pretty standard counter. Bad Batch versus GG. Qui-Gon Jinn versus Geos. He used a weird Gideon Vader IPD against my bag bros, which was interesting. Wampered GL Newt, standard counter there. And this is where he got tripped up. He failed his profundity counter with Executor. It's not a guaranteed counter. Then he used his profundity to take out my Executor. No surprises there. Then he used Malevolence to clear out the Empire fleet that I put on defense. Finally, he tried to take the finalizer to finish off my profundity and failed once again. He did go south. He used his slacker to kill my Rey, he used gas to take out Malgus, CLS to take out my gas, and then he used Jedi Knight Revan in an attempt to beat Darth Revan. But honestly, that's a tricky counter, especially when the Datacrons come into play. So he still had JMK left on the southern section to get through, and we know he just didn't have the offensive power to do it, thanks to putting so many of his GLs on defense. All in all, I am pretty happy with our performance there. Pretty successful GAC, punching up against a large opponent. I thought it was an enjoyable one. What do you think? And that is going to about do it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I just want you to let me know in the comment section, how many times did I change my clothes in this video? I want to see how many of you were actually paying attention. Let me know down there. Stay tuned, hit that like button, subscribe to your boy Scribe for more content in the very near future, and I will see you all, you beautiful, beautiful people of the YouTube universe, in the next video. Peace out.